The man reached across the counter and grabbed her by the collar. 19 years old, first job, 3 weeks of training, and now a grown man had his fist twisted in her uniform, pulling her face toward his. "You think you can embarrass me?" His spit landed on her cheek. "You think you can reject my coupon in front of everyone?" Jessica Torres tried to pull back. Her feet slipped on the floor mat. The register dug into her stomach as he yanked her forward. "I'm sorry, sir. The coupon is expired. I don't care if it's expired." His face was inches from hers, red, twisted, veins pulsing on his forehead. "You're going to honor it, or I'm going to make sure you never work in this city again." 23 people in line behind him. 23 people watching a teenage girl being assaulted. Nobody moved. The store manager was in the back office. The security guard was on break. Jessica was alone. Her hands were shaking. Tears were streaming down her face. She could smell the coffee on his breath, feel his knuckles pressing against her throat, and then she heard a shopping cart stop. Footsteps, calm, deliberate, getting closer. Let her go. The man turned his head, fist still wrapped in Jessica's collar. Michael Douglas was standing 3 feet away. What happened in the next 40 seconds would get the man arrested in the parking lot. The cashier would receive something that night that changed how she saw herself forever, and the grocery store would have to release the security footage after it went viral. But here's what nobody expected. The story of what happened in that checkout line would spread across the country. And it would change one young woman's life in ways she never imagined. Stay with me. If stories like this move you, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from today. To understand what happened in that grocery store, you need to understand who Jessica Torres was and what this job meant to her. Jessica had just graduated from high school 3 months earlier. She was the first person in her family to get a diploma. Her mother cleaned offices at night. Her father worked construction when he could find it. They lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in East LA with Jessica, her younger brother, and her grandmother. College wasn't an option. Not yet. Maybe not ever. When Jessica got the job at Ralph's, her mother cried, "Mi hija, a real job, with a uniform, with benefits." It wasn't glamorous. Minimum wage. 8-hour shifts on her feet, scanning groceries while people ignored her or complained about prices she didn't set. But it was honest work. It was a paycheck. It was a start. Jessica had a plan. Work at Ralph's for 2 years. Save everything. Take night classes at community college. Maybe get promoted to shift supervisor. Maybe, someday, become a store manager. Small dreams. But they were her dreams. On September 12, 2008, Jessica was working Register 7. The Saturday afternoon rush. Line 20 people deep. The air conditioning was broken. Everyone was irritable. And then Gerald Hoffman walked up with a coupon. If this story is touching your heart, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. And don't forget to subscribe, because what happened next is something this grocery store tried to keep quiet for years. Gerald Hoffman was 53 years old, investment banker, made more money in a month than Jessica's family made in a year. He was also having the worst week of his life. His wife had filed for divorce on Monday. His firm was under investigation for fraud. His blood pressure medication wasn't working, and he had just found out his mistress was pregnant. None of that was Jessica's fault, but Gerald Hoffman needed someone to destroy, and Jessica Torres was standing right there. He placed his items on the conveyor belt: expensive wine, organic vegetables, premium steaks, the kind of groceries that cost more than Jessica's weekly paycheck. Then he handed her a coupon. Jessica scanned it. The register beeped. Error. She looked at the coupon. Expired 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry, sir. This coupon expired on August 20th. I can't accept it. Gerald's face changed. What did you say? The coupon is expired, sir. I'm sorry. Run it again. Sir, the system won't run it again. Jessica ran it again. Same error. I'm sorry, sir. I really can't. That's when Gerald Hoffman snapped. He didn't yell at first. He leaned forward. Close. Too close. Do you know who I am? Jessica shook her head. I'm a man who spends $300 in this store every week. I'm a man who could buy and sell your entire family. And you're telling me you can't honor a coupon for $2 off laundry detergent? Sir, I don't make the rules. The coupon is... Gerald's hand shot across the counter. His fist closed around the collar of Jessica's uniform. He pulled. Before I tell you what Michael Douglas did, you need to understand where he was standing and what he saw. Michael Douglas was having a normal Saturday. That was rare for him. Most days involved scripts, meetings, calls from agents and producers. But today, Catherine was out of town. The kids were with friends. Michael had decided to do something he almost never did. Go grocery shopping. Alone. Like a normal person. He had grabbed a cart, walked the aisles, picked up some fruit, some bread, some things for dinner. Nobody had recognized him yet. He was wearing a baseball cap and old jeans. Just another customer. He was heading toward the checkout lines when he heard the commotion. A man's voice. Loud. Angry. Getting louder. Michael stopped his cart and looked. What he saw made his blood run cold. A middle-aged man in an expensive polo shirt had a teenage girl by the collar. He was pulling her across the counter. Her feet were slipping. Tears were running down her face, and 20 people were standing in line, watching it happen. Not one of them moving. Michael left his cart in the middle of the aisle. He started walking toward Register 7. If you're still with me, you're amazing. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments what you would have done in that grocery store. Because what happened next shocked everyone. Let her go. Michael's voice cut through the noise of the store. Gerald turned his head. His fist was still twisted in Jessica's collar. His face was still red with rage. When he saw who was speaking, he blinked. Recognition flickered across his face. This is none of your business. Michael took another step closer. You have your hands on a teenage girl. That makes it everyone's business. She disrespected me. Gerald's grip tightened. Jessica whimpered. She humiliated me in front of... She told you a coupon was expired. Michael's voice was calm, but hard. That's not disrespect. That's her job. I don't care what her job is. I'm a customer. You're a man assaulting a child. Michael took one more step. Now you have two choices. Let her go right now, or I call the police and you explain to them why you have your hands around a 19-year-old girl's throat. Gerald's eyes darted around. The other customers were watching now, really watching. Some had phones out. You don't know who you're dealing with. Michael smiled, but there was no warmth in it. I know exactly who I'm dealing with. A bully. A man who thinks his money makes him untouchable. A man who grabs teenage girls because a coupon hurt his feelings. He leaned closer. I've met a lot of men like you. In Hollywood, in business, everywhere. And I've learned one thing about all of them. What's that? They're cowards. Every single one. Gerald's face went from red to purple. How dare you? Let her go. Michael didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. The authority in those 3 words was absolute. Gerald's hand released Jessica's collar. She stumbled backward, gasping, her hand going to her throat. Michael immediately turned to her. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? Jessica couldn't speak. She was shaking, crying, looking at Michael Douglas like he had appeared from another dimension. I'm going to need you to sit down. Michael's voice softened. Someone get her some water. Now. A customer rushed off to find water. Another helped Jessica to a chair behind the register. Michael turned back to Gerald. "You're going to stay right here until the police arrive." "Police?" Gerald laughed nervously. "For what? I didn't do anything." Michael pointed to the customers with phones. "I count at least 6 people who just recorded you grabbing that girl across the counter. Assault, on video, of a minor." "She's not a minor. She's—" "Does it matter?" Michael's voice sharpened. "You put your hands on someone, in public, over a coupon. You think any judge is going to care about the details?" Gerald's face went pale. "This is ridiculous. I'm leaving." He turned toward the exit. Michael didn't move to stop him. Instead, he called out, "Sir, you forgot something." Gerald turned back. Michael held up a cell phone. "The man behind you in line just sent that video to the local news. They're going to want to know who you are." Gerald's mouth opened, closed, opened again. No words came out. 2 minutes later, store security arrived. The police were called. Gerald Hoffman was detained in the parking lot and arrested for assault. The video was on the evening news by 6 o'clock. The aftermath came fast. Gerald Hoffman was charged with misdemeanor assault. He pleaded no contest and received community service and anger management classes. His firm, already under investigation, distanced themselves from him immediately. He resigned 2 weeks later. The divorce his wife had filed? She got everything. But the most important part of the story happened that night. Jessica Torres had finished her shift in a daze. The manager had sent her home early with pay. Her mother was waiting when she got home, crying, having seen the news. There was a knock at the door around 8 o'clock. Jessica's father answered. His face went slack. Michael Douglas was standing on their doorstep. "Mr. Torres, I'm sorry to bother you at home. I'm Michael Douglas. I was at the store today when I know who you are." Jessica's father stepped back. "Please, come in." Michael walked into their small apartment. Jessica was sitting on the couch, still in her work uniform, still shaken. Michael sat down across from her. "Jessica, I wanted to make sure you were really okay. What happened today was wrong. Completely wrong." Jessica nodded, unable to speak. "I also wanted to give you something." He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. "This is a check for your education. I don't know what your plans are, but I want you to have options. Nobody who works as hard as you should have their dreams limited by money." Jessica's hands trembled as she took the envelope. She opened it. $25,000. "Mr. Douglas, I can't—" "Yes, you can." Michael's voice was firm but kind. "You stood at that register while a man twice your size grabbed you by the throat. You didn't run. You didn't scream. You stayed professional even while you were terrified." He paused. "That's not weakness, Jessica. That's strength, and strength like that deserves a chance." Jessica's mother was crying now. Her father had to sit down. Michael stood up. "One more thing." He pulled out a business card. "I have a friend who runs a hospitality company. Hotels, restaurants, events. She's always looking for people with good instincts and strong character. If you're interested, call this number. Tell them I sent you." He headed toward the door, then turned back. "What happened today doesn't define you, Jessica. How you respond to it does. And from what I saw, you're going to respond just fine." Then he was gone. Jessica Torres used that check to pay for community college. She got her associate's degree in business administration. Then she called the number on the card. The friend Michael mentioned? She hired Jessica as a front desk assistant at a boutique hotel in Beverly Hills. 15 years later, Jessica Torres is the general manager of that hotel. She oversees 200 employees. She makes 6 figures a year, and every time she sees a customer mistreating a staff member, she thinks about that day at Ralph's. In 2020, a business magazine interviewed Jessica about her career. They asked about her management philosophy. Jessica smiled. I had a mentor once. He told me that strength isn't about fighting back. It's about standing your ground even when you're terrified. It's about maintaining your dignity when someone is trying to take it from you. She paused. I only met him once, for about 10 minutes, but he changed my entire life. The journalist asked who this mentor was. Jessica reached into her desk and pulled out a framed business card, worn from years of handling, edges soft, but the name still legible. Michael Douglas. He didn't just save me from that man. He showed me what I was worth. A movie star, standing in a grocery store, telling a cashier that she deserved better. Her voice caught. I've never forgotten that. And I've spent the last 15 years trying to make sure the people who work for me know they're worth protecting, too. Michael Douglas has never spoken publicly about what happened at that grocery store. When asked about it years later, he said simply, "A man was hurting a young woman." I said something. That's what you're supposed to do. But the people who were there remember it differently. They remember a movie star leaving his groceries in the middle of an aisle, walking calmly toward a violent confrontation while everyone else stood, frozen, looking a bully in the eye and saying 3 words that changed everything. Let her go. That's not just bravery, that's character. And character is something you carry with you forever. Thank you for watching until the end. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, have you ever seen someone stand up for a stranger? I'll see you in the next one.